Good day to everyone. Charles McCutchen here. I'm your favorite entrepreneur. My. What can I say? I just want to welcome everybody who have not been here before, who have not heard me before. Charles McCutchen. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm serious about what I do. My bigger goal is to help people. So that's what I do, and I put together Charles's Corner with the help of Kimmy's platform and Relation Radio. And what I do is I get this big mixing bowl and I put everything together. And to me, it comes out as financial freedom. Different places and different things that I do along my journey, I actually added to this show to let people see it and then do something with it as we move forward in life. Back from, this is years in the making for everything that's been going on in the world to now and moving forward. So I just have so much stuff that I want to discuss, and it's like, man, I wish I could just pile it all in at one time, but it's, that's impossible. So I just take bits and pieces of my world, and then I share it. So I'm going to do that today, nothing different from today. I'm going to take bits and pieces of what I do, what I'm working on right now, and I'm going to share it. One of the things I'm doing right now is working with my nonprofit, doing a lot of work there. My nonprofit is working with veterans and those transitioning from the prison system. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going through a couple of different companies. They're going to provide some grants for the veterans, grants maybe to even build. I'm actually just in the talks right now, so nothing is concrete yet. I have some grant writers that's going to be writing for me. Matter of fact, I'm looking on my board right now, and I must talk to them as well. So what I've done, essentially, and anybody who has a nonprofit can do the same thing, what I've done is I put myself out there to where I have multiple sources of funding. And what I see across the nation, and I'm going to say across the nation because I speak to a lot of people. I teach people nonprofit stuff. What I see across the nation is we are hurting in the nonprofit space, for one, and for two, we don't go bigger. We kind of just, a lot of people get their nonprofit and then they kind of just sit right there, and, some people just let it sit and don't do anything with it. And then some people, they do just enough to get by. I think the majority, and I'm just going to throw an arbitrary number out there, and I don't know the right details on this, but this is just from who I speak with. I'm going to say at least 65% of the people that's out there, all they do is spend their own money for their nonprofit. When there's so much money out there in the form of grants and donations and vouchers and everything else that we could get, but you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't know, I think the only thing you can do is get smarter. That's what I would hope, that we get smarter, we continue to learn, we continue to research, we continue to connect, we continue to network, because then that will actually provide you some insight into understanding what it is we should be doing with these doggone nonprofits, these pesky nonprofits. So I'm going to talk about a thing called grant readiness. A lot of us are not ready to receive any money. And so if I was to put online, or you just put out there right now, who can use a grant, everybody and their mother and brother would come to the table. I can use a grant. And then I'll ask the question, well, do you have a nonprofit? Nope. Not to say that you need a nonprofit to get a grant, but there's just more grants available for nonprofits based upon my research. I can't tell you what everybody else is doing. Based upon my research, there's more grants available, and based upon my research, there's more private grants than there are public. So you may want a grant, but you may not be ready to receive a grant, because if I was to tell you send your information over, because that's what I have to give my grant writers, is information and content on what I'm doing. And if you don't have that, how are they going to jump through hoops or do what they need to do and write a grant for you to get funded? Some grants take 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. Some take longer than that. It's a lot of research involved with different grants. So it's better to have all your stuff, all your ducks in a row, as some people say it, just so you can make sure you can get funded. So grant readiness is just your nonprofit's capability and capacity for finding the right grants. And that's all you're doing. You're making sure that you put your best foot forward. And there's legal things out there as well, making sure like you are a 501c3. I speak to a lot of people, and I say, well, you're a 501c3. And they say, yes. I say, where's the paperwork? What paperwork are you talking about? Well, the IRS has some paperwork that we get. It's called a determination letter. That determination letter will state that you and your organization, really, your organization, your nonprofit, your business is tax exempt as coming from the IRS. And that's really what happens. So there's legal ramifications, there's financial things you have to go through. And a lot of people don't know what they want to do. A lot of people, they want a nonprofit, but they haven't really sat down to script it out to understand what it is you really think you want. And some people are like literally all over the place. And it's harder because I get on the phone with people. And I'm going to tell y'all straight up, I'm going to stop. Well, I'm going to slow down, put it that way, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to slow down getting on the phone with people just because it's harder for me to get on the phone and spend an hour with you trying to figure out what you want to do. I don't really have that kind of time. Because imagine me and 12 people want to get on the phone with me 12 times 1 hour. That's 12 of my hours gone. You know, that's 12 of my hours that I could be doing business credit. I can be writing this other book that I have coming out. I can be working on my development. I can be working on my nonprofit. I can be working on government contracts. I could be working on the real estate deal. I could be talking to somebody else about their nonprofit that I'm working with, that we're collaborating. There's so many different things that I have to do on my plate, and I try to help people understand I'm a busy guy, and I keep adding stuff, and that's just what it is. You know, God gave me talent, and I'm just going to use it up. So I don't really have time to sit and just be there, you know, because, I mean, I still have to keep the lights on in my house as well, and you have to do it in yours. You go to work to get a paycheck. I can't spend 8 to 10 hours of my time. You know, I help people like no other. I put a lot of stuff out there, a lot of content so people can use. So some of the basic content I try to put out there, and some of the basic content, you can go online and look at it. You know, everybody has the opportunity to look at it. And I remember I posted something on social media, and it had to be at least eight literally paragraphs of information. It was a lot of content. This guy got mad because I didn't post enough content. And I told him, I said, the same information I'm putting here is the same way. You know, I did some research. You can go and look on the internet and get the same content. Nobody's stopping you. You don't have to rely on anybody. So I try to relay that to people that, you know, you don't have to get it from me. There's a lot of people out there with information. I just choose to put information out there. And anything I put out there, anything I say, I tell people, please do your due diligence. For anything anybody gives you, do your due diligence and just make sure that it's a fit. Just make sure it's right. And if it's not, then don't take it. You know, that's what I do. So there's private, there's public, there's different types of nonprofits. You have everybody knows the 501c3. Then there's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, it's a lot of different nonprofits out there. So 501c3s, you get the donations. 501c4s that are not tax deductible. You know, so figure out what you're doing, and then you can like reverse engineer it. You know. So, and then you got to figure out what type of entity you have. Some people are for-profit entities. Some people are non-profit entities. And then I'm not going to go into that. I will talk about something else, but I don't want to. So what you have to do, no matter what you do, you're still going to register with the IRS. Nonprofits are actual businesses, y'all. I don't like when people say, well, it's not really a business. Well, it is a business. Nonprofits are real. And you got to make sure that you treat it as such. it's definitely a business. So you can go online and go there. You definitely have to register with your Secretary of State or your Attorney General, either or. I don't know where you are. Then you can you apply for that tax. I'm just giving y'all the high level, y'all. Don't. It's more than this. There's a form out there, Form 1023, and that's kind of how you fill it out. There's an easy form, then there's a long form for those churches, but you got to apply, and then they give you. Not saying it's that easy and that quick, but you can file for your tax exempt status to get your letter that you need. I call it your designation letter. And I actually used my designation letter, and I'm now partnered with Amazon. So what I did, and I know people have been hitting me up, Charles, how did you do it? How did you do it? So I'm actually getting a lot of goods, and it's mainly goods, from Amazon. So what I did, I happened to just know somebody that works there, and I had a conversation. I went through the paperwork to fill out, and it took approximately 3 months. And the downfall right now, it's not really a downfall, it is what it is, but we went and did a pickup, right? And I say we because I had like 4 vehicles following me, 3 following me, total of us was 4, and we went to do a pickup, our first pickup. We got all this stuff from rubber gloves to cleaning supplies, and they have dog food, they have food for children, clothes for children, they have water, they got all this stuff, right? So put my information in, my documentation was up to speed. So you got to put it in because you got to fill it out because they're definitely going to do their checks and balances. But that's donated stuff that I'm actually donating it from one nonprofit to the next because I can't use all of it, especially not right now. But as time goes on, I'll be able to, use a little bit more of it. So I'm sharing resources with more nonprofits so we can come together. And that's another thing that a lot of people need to do. You need to get with some people that have nonprofits. And I would say do this, just like I did. I sit on the board for a nonprofit. They work with veterans, and they work with people who like to use a leg up, a little bit of help or what have you, from a financial standpoint, giving them services, getting them back in the houses and stuff like that. And so I learned a lot from that nonprofit because they've been around since 2004. I've only been around since 2016. So that's something that you can do to learn. A lot of people just don't want to do it. I don't really want to go to the meetings, but, I do it because it's going to help me to learn because this is a business. This is definitely a business. So as you do your nonprofit, you're going to get a DUNS number. You're going to get with SAM, and that's sam.gov. And that's people use that. SAM is basically you can get federal government grants as well and contracts. So even with your nonprofit, you can get those. So you have to register so you can get that stuff set up. So as you go through, you getting your business set up. There's like a checklist. Did I get my business entity? Did I apply for a tax ID? Did I register the business entity with the state? Am I registered as a charitable organization? Did I submit my form 1023? Did I receive the IRS tax exempt letter? And that's almost like my donation letter that I can take anywhere. And it has my EIN, employment identification number, on there, and I can get, stuff donated to the nonprofit. So, and then SAM, and then SAM.gov, and then your cage code and all that stuff. So it's about setting your business up, getting the people. That's going to be the hardest part. It feels like, my goodness, it's hard to get good people, because what you want to do is you got to get some people. Literally, I think it's 3 to 5 people when you set it up, when you start out. And as you do that, I've went through getting new people for my board because, everybody doesn't want to be on the board. It's okay. So you got to get your board set up, and your board should help a little bit. I'm not going to say they're going to help a lot. They should be able to help a little bit. And a lot of people, when I speak to them, I talk to them about what they need. And I said, okay, if you had, like, how much money do you need for your nonprofit? Even people with nonprofits right now, they throw an arbitrary number out there, but it don't really make a lot of sense. And I said, well, $100,000, like, what are you doing that you need $100,000? And then a lot of people can't come up with anything that's good. But anybody can throw a number to say, yeah, I need 50,000, 60,000. But when you start to itemize that, that's when the trouble comes in. It's like, okay, why do you need 60,000? Why do you need 100,000? And well, I want to get a truck. I want to get, they just start making stuff up. And so, not to say that they don't need a truck, but what you could do if you have a nonprofit, you can actually get something donated. So a lot of people look past donations, and you can get a truck donated. You can get a house donated. You can get food donated. You can get a lot of stuff that you need donated. So that makes a difference when you're looking for funding. Because when you're going for funding from these different lending or funders, they're going to ask you to break down what you need, why you need it, and you just have to have a compelling story, because basically it's all about the story and what you've done and who you've partnered with. So with your people that's on your board of directors, you're going to have to get together, and what we do is we form a budget. We say, what do we need? Why do we need it? And you break it down. The best thing you can do is get with another nonprofit. They already have a budget, and if you're on the same wavelength as them, you can take some of the information they have and use it for your organization. One thing I see a lot of nonprofits fail at, I did this as well, is not filling out the forms at the end of the year. I don't know when you fill yours out, but there's forms, even though we don't really pay taxes as a tax-exempt entity, the IRS still has us do a reporting. So we report on Form 990. And so what I did, when I went to go pick up that stuff from Amazon, I told all the nonprofits, if you want me to give you some of the items that I'm about to receive through my nonprofit, I need you to show me a 990. And it's literally a form that you can probably fill out in 7 minutes. And it is just a reporting type of form. You can do one electronically. There's like a Form 990 and a Form 990 EZ, and then there's an electronic one, a Form 990N, and that's the one I be filling out online. It don't even take that long. So you're supposed to do it every year. And what happens is, if you don't do it every year, you let 1 year slip, next year slip, next year slip. People that have nonprofits that have let it slip 3 years, what they'll do is make your nonprofit ineligible. So you gotta deal with that. So in the other nonprofit that I work with, we have an accountant, we have an attorney. I don't have an attorney for my nonprofit yet, and that's when I get into the to the meat of this thing. It's coming up shortly. I do have some pinpointed. I already talked to the guy, and we'll go from there. But I'm not bringing in like big amounts of money, not yet, until I get this development and get this assisted living on a big scale, off the ground. And when you go doing that type of stuff, you definitely need a tax attorney or a CPA or somebody to do the books for you, because for me, I know I'm going to be audited. So everything I do with my nonprofit, I'm very meticulous and very no, I don't want to do that, or I'm going to do that. But I know I'm going to be audited, and they're going to backtrack and see what I've done, who I've worked with, stuff like that. So I'm just preparing, really, and everybody should be doing the same thing. It should be no big deal. So what I'm doing right now with a team of people is we're going through and we're getting everything set up for the grants, And the goal is to get a list of funders, send them letters so you can get on their list. Everybody has a list. But to get on their list, you got to have your stuff together. So you have your stuff together, and you kind of just like, you can still get it together. There's nothing, nothing that says you can't. But you just got to, put everything together. And when I say everything, you got to look at, like, your history of your nonprofit. Like, what's your mission? And the thing you can do, I'm going to be honest, you can just go online and look at other nonprofits in your industry and see what their mission is, and then fold that into what you're doing. You don't have to start and do everything from scratch. You don't have to. I mean, that's up to you. So you're going to have goals and objectives. Oh, my goodness. You're going to describe your program, how many individuals you work with. Even if you don't have your nonprofit letter from the IRS, I see a lot of people that don't have a nonprofit, but they've been helping out for so long and spending their money for so long, they can transition right into a nonprofit. So they can still say, like, I've helped X number of people over the course of 2 years. You kind of working that in. It's not like you haven't been helping people. That's the thing with people that are just helpers. We tend to give up a lot of money because we just see the need. And, we put ourselves at risk sometimes. You just got to have a plan, And you can work. The sad part is a lot of people won't even help you. I'm not saying a lot of people, but I've met people on my journey who said, well, I'm not going to help. I'm just like, and for me, I don't really care if people help me or not. I'm just that type of person. Nobody, no one person, no man, woman is going to stop me from reaching my goals because I'm relentless at getting it done. And I believe if one person has done it, then it's no problem because I'll be able to do it too. I'll definitely be able to do it too. No big deal. And one thing you can do that's good for you, if you've already been out there in the community helping people, get letters and take pictures. That's like the best thing you can do because you can send that stuff in when you're talking to these people that have the real money and they want to fund you. You can start, you can send that stuff in if that's what they ask for. Everybody asks for something different. If you get money from somebody, they're going to ask you for different things. Then we get the, somebody got to do your bylaws. So what I would do, like I say, go online, get that stuff set up first, and look around and see who you can see. Some of the things you're going to need, like the basics. You're going to look at your target population. I have a veteran nonprofit. I'll look at the veterans in my area, and I'll break down, okay, there's X number of veterans in my area, and there's only, X number of people that provide these types of services. Then I look at I break down my current program, look at my staff, my board of directors. I get bios and resumes from them because sometimes a lender may want you to submit that, that information. So right now, what I'm doing is I got some people helping me though. We're going to put together an organizational chart and figure out the flow of everything. And that's kind of like putting things and people in places because there's a lot of moving parts right now with what I'm working on, and I'm so thankful that people want to help, because I couldn't do it all myself. So I'm trying to put it together to where you have like a flow chart and you say, okay, well, this person can do this. You have finance, you have development, you have a program director, and then you have an executive director above them. Do you have different departments in a sense? Because we're going to have a lot of moving parts with what we're doing. And the good thing about it that I like is I'm not doing it by myself. I've got a lot of experts that's helping me out, when we get to that point. And so I can focus on other things. I focus on the funding because the funding just helps so much. It just helps so much more. That's all. So get some folks to help you out along your journey. And I say make sure you go online, do some research, so you don't have to like call up a guy like me and spend an hour of my time, which I'm thankful to be able to give time, where I can. But, sometimes it's going to be, and I'm only preparing people because what I'm doing right now, as I'm working on this development and we're getting closer and closer and closer to, like, I put it out there to the world in like a bigger level. I put it out there, but not like I'm going to. I'm definitely going to hit over 500 resources from across the country, from radio to TV and everything. And that's coming up. It's definitely coming up. Everything is going down this year, even though I've been working on it for a minute. It's going down this year. A lot of meetings with city officials and mayors and municipalities and lawyers and people. Just a lot going on. And so I try to explain that to people like, yo, I am busy as a beaver. And I signed up for this. And I'm not mad. It is what it is. It's just something that I must do. And I'm trying to find a point in time, like when I can take a break. I'm looking at my life like, wow, I'm sitting here doing this and doing that and doing this. Like, I got to find that medium, but I haven't found it yet. And I haven't closed the deal yet either. So I can't just be like, well, forget it. And I've been working on this for this long. I can't do that. So I got to get it done. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get it done, and then I can figure out, how my schedule is. That's where I am right now. I got to figure out how my schedule is. So that being said, I didn't want to take up too much time. I just wanted to give a little snapshot of where I am, what I do, how I do what I do. And as I say, I'm blessed. I'm thankful that I'm even in this position to be able to help, to do what I do, to be able to give back. And I just believe that that's what I was sent here to do. So I was sent here to help. I'm doing my part. And I'm happy about where I am, and it's amazing that I even get to be, growing the way I am. And like I said, I know I keep adding stuff, and I'm like, well, he gave all this to me for a reason, so I just have to use it, and I trust that, like everybody knows, he just didn't bring it to you just to bring it to you. You have to do something with it. I think we all have the gifts, and I just intend to use mine to where I'm putting myself and then my family and then others around me in better positions in life so we can move forward. So that's what I have to say. I just want to thank everybody, the Elation family, doing some phenomenal things. We got everything is changing, and we're trying to figure out what direction to go as far as the world. The world as a whole is still figuring this thing out. So nobody has it figured out. So don't feel some type of way. Like, this is still like we're in the pandemic. And I'm doing some studying, like some peer-reviewed type studying right now, and figuring out, not really trying to figure out the pandemic, but trying to gauge like where we're going. But what I'm getting from the different research and resources from these experts, I mean, it's looking like, and I can't say it is, it's looking like we're going to be, inflation is coming, and it's looking like there may be a lack of funding, there's going to be a lack of jobs, and I don't know. We'll see when it gets here. But the only thing we can do is keep moving. I'm prepared for, I prepare for the worst. That's just how I do it, and then I work off of that. So I don't like when people just say everything is fine, and I don't think that's a true statement, only because we haven't experienced this type of a pandemic. That's just what I believe. That's just me. People do what they want to do. And I say God bless everybody. So I'm going to pray us out, dear Lord. I want to thank you for giving me the time to speak to everybody. We have a world of worry, not a lot of peace. And forgive us for forgetting that your love will never change, it never fades, and you'll never abandon us. Please give us the strength and the mental fortitude that we need to move forward, to know that everything will be okay as long as we keep you first, because everything happens on your time. And continue to bless us and keep us healthy in these trying times. Continue to keep us safe. Continue to give us the clear picture, because we know that you didn't bring us this far to just bring us this far. In your name I pray. Amen, amen, and amen. And this is Charles McCutchen. I'm your favorite entrepreneur, and I'm going for it. And y'all should too. My favorite.
I feel like Bruce Banner. Can't nobody stop me. My plug got the answer. I know my God got me. I'm unstoppable. You can't stop with this mess to prosper. Got them hits like an LA Dodger. God chose me, put me on the roster. Chasing goals, I won Grammys and Oscars. Took some losses, but I'm still a winner. Been forgiven, but I'm still a sinner. Wanna see me fail, that won't happen though. I'm the front page in the centerfold. I can't be stopped, I got the power. My enemies looking real sour, trying to hold me back like rush hour. All obstacles I straight devour. No one's gonna stop me, I promise I don't play. You don't wanna with me, I'm coming no delay. Hear a lot of talking no matter what he say. Turning up the hustle, I'm bringing a heat wave. He say, she say, you can't stop me. 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 Coast to coast, I rep the host to host. I got the Holy Ghost, I do not need to boast. Nah, strength within, release through the pen. Write about my sin, cause it inspires men. Humble with the talent, let it put me on high. The power that is in me keep me sing like Wi-Fi. Overcome the look at fear and tell it bye-bye. Undefeated through the Lord, no I won't lie. Oh my, you don't wanna waste time, it'll fly by. Came into the game, it was all in vain. Switched up a frame, now I'm in my own lane. Gotta see the vision, get a plan, make it clear. Breaking since the hustle, all I will appear. Never quit, stay the course, trust paid. Even when you think the dream is coming late. I've already had a lot of reasons I could throw in the towel, but the spirit living in me doesn't ever let me know how. Tired of all the rappers claiming what they're really not, like wow. I see a lot of foolery, not fooling me, I gotta call a foul. Can't be stopped, will not quit. I got goals, I'm gon' hit. Go so hard, I'm so lit. Mind on him, homie, that's it. He say, she say, you can't stop me. 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 Wrote this verse on the resurrection. Stepped on in, healed my infection. Since that day I've had your protection. No question about it, my best selection. Got the picture like panorama. All glory up to Hosanna. My fire lit, started going hammer. That's why I feel like Bruce Banner. He say, she say, you can't stop me. He say, she say, you can't stop me. He say, she say, you can't stop me. He say,